I'm with Hanna Massah, and we're here in Gaza talking about the situation in Gaza. What's life like here in Gaza?
Life is not easy in Gaza, especially for us as a Christian, especially after things changed here in Gaza. It's become, unfortunately, more pressure on the Christian, and you can experience this in every day of your life. You didn't really have the freedom to be who you are and just to be yourself and to share freely your faith and to live your life as a Christian and just to reflect His love. It's challenging every day.
What's a typical day like here?
Oh, one of the difficulties here about the electricity, when you have it just 8 hours out of the 24 hours, so you're concerned about the electricity, the solar, the motor. So this is one of the difficulties we face. And it just, unfortunately, the people here become more religious, more militants, and this is put the pressure on us as a Christian in every day of our life as we try to reflect God's love in the midst of the people we live among.
Now, there is conflict here in the land. Do people here in Gaza know people who've died? Is it very close to the people here?
You mean people who died from the Israeli invasion, or? Yeah, because especially in the war a couple of years ago, about 1,400 people been killed and many people been injured, and almost many people been affected by the war, and just the fear. Still, people talk about that they never went through something like this in their entire life. The time of the war was really very difficult time and very fearful time. Affect every group here in Gaza.
Does it affect the children here? Are there many children suffering from psychological problems?
Oh yes, yes. As they go to sleep with nightmares, and even the adult. A friend of mine told me, he's in his 70s, and he said at the time of the war, this is the worst time I ever went through in Gaza. I never went through some difficult time. Even the war in '67 wasn't like that. So it's affect deeply not only the children but also the adult, and the trauma, post-traumatic stress disorder still affecting many people because of the war. And also, the siege here in Gaza, it's Gaza 30 miles long, 7 miles wide, the most populated area in the world. You have 1.6 million people living in it. So people usually ask me what it's like to live in Gaza, and basically I said I never been in prison, but I live in one when I'm in Gaza. So Gaza, unfortunately, it's a huge prison. The only two exit we have from the south was Egypt, and from the north was Israel. And many people still not able to have the freedom to travel in and out of Gaza.
And you got Christians here in the community. How many Christians are there, and what's life like for them?
We have about 400 families, Christian. This is in Greek Orthodox, Catholic, and Evangelicals. And, for us as a Christian, what is like, we live between two fires. We live the fire of the Israeli occupation because we are affected like the rest of the people here, but also the other fire of the militant Muslims, who is very militant, and that affect our life and affect how we live and our relationship. And it's not easy. Women, for example, didn't have full freedom just to go in and out and to walk freely in the streets without covering their head. You will notice like everybody almost looking at you as if you coming from different planet. You look strange because most of the people here in Gaza are covered. The ladies, I mean, covered their heads, and so it's a big challenge. Gaza is not the same. It's more populated now, and it's people become more religious, more militant, and This is in many ways put a pressure on the young people, also in the universities, uh, s- whereas other Muslims sometimes want them to become or to change their religion. They want the Christian to become a Muslim. And if the Christian is not strong enough, unfortunately, there is a big number been converted and left, even though in many ways they are nominally Christian, but unfortunately they converted to Islam. And this became very painful for the Christian community in Gaza. And it's the responsibility for the churches here to do something to help and to protect the Christian community and to be also blessing for the wider community, for the un-Christian as well.
When somebody converts to Islam, is it like a death in the family for the Christian community?
Yeah, because this person, this man or this woman, it's cut off from the rest of the community, and it's become very isolated. And yes, the Christian family grieve because as if this person been died and completely died off from the rest of the family.
Now, it is a very small community. Do all the Christians know all the other Christians within the community?
Yeah, yeah. Many of them married from each other. They are in-laws and relate to one another. So it's a very close community, and this is good. But also sometimes it's difficult when a small community, um, as if everybody know everything about there, and that created some problems sometimes. But in general, it's a strong community. But these days are grieving. It, this community has been hurt, and especially the last maybe 6 years, I saw almost 30 Christians converted to Islam from Gaza with different problems, with different challenges, and they're not able to do much about this. Yeah.
As a pastor, that must be very difficult to see.
Yeah, it is. It's very difficult when you see one of the sheep is going away and going astray, and you want to do everything you can. So this is why I think the churches here need to be prepared in advance before these problems happen.
What's the biggest need for the church today in Gaza?
I think it's very important because unfortunately many of the Christian community here in Gaza are nominal. They didn't really know their book. They didn't know the Bible. And they need to learn, of course, first to have personal relationship with the Lord, to know their book, and to be educated concerning apologetics in order to answer the questions when they face from the community, the Muslim community, questions like about the Trinity, that you Christian believe in three gods. So they need to know how to answer. When they say the Bible is corrupted or you are people of blasphemy, you need to become a Muslim. So the Christian need to know how to answer and to express about the hope we have within, who we are and what we believe in. Because many young men, when they go to the university, they are empty. So anything been thrown at them, unfortunately, some of them are taking that and they left the faith of their parents and their grandparents.
And what's life like for the youth here in Gaza?
Especially when they go to the universities, as I said, they they not filled. There's a lot of emptiness in their life, and they're not able to have real discussion or valuable discussion with their friends, the Muslim friends. But when they are satisfied and filled with the Word of God, then they able to answer and have a real answer when they have an argument or discussion with their friend about the Christian faith or about the Muslim faith. But unfortunately, there's a lot of emptiness, and the siege we live under here is affecting the life of the Christian community, affecting the life of the young people, because we not only isolated from the geographical point of view, but also we isolated mentally from the rest of the world. And the Christian young people continue to be filled what is already in Gaza, which is the influence of Islam. And because there's no openness to listen to other things, this is why, unfortunately, many of them been affected by the Muslim cultures and the Muslim faith. So there's a lot of responsibility for the shepherds here, a lot of responsibility for the church, to be the church and to take responsibility to shepherd and to teach and to educate and to hold these precious men and women, and just to be blessing for them, especially at this difficult time. So the isolation, I mean, the siege is not just isolated us, but from the rest of the world, but also affecting the life and the mentality of the Christian young men and women here in Gaza.
Now, you're also working in Jordan as well. What are you doing in Jordan?
I'm pastoring Iraqi refugee church. The Middle East has changed, not only here in Gaza, but all over the Middle East. And many Christians in the Middle East are leaving. 50, 60 years ago, you have about 30 million Christian all over the Middle East, but now you almost have half. For example, in Iraq, there are many Iraqi Christians leaving Iraq because of persecution. And if you remember, about a year and a half ago, four men enter one of the churches in Iraq, and they explode themselves, militant Muslims. The Christian Iraqis who come to Jordan, where we minister, there's a number of them used to go to that church. And for example, there's a lady who lost her son in that service. So we have many people who experience persecuted. We minister to about 250 families, Iraqi refugees in Jordan. We help them with relief work, and also we meet every Tuesday as we teach the word, and as we worship, as we preach, and as we disciple the people who want to grow in their faith. So this is what we do, the ministry in Jordan among the Iraqi refugees, because they come to Jordan for maybe a couple of years as a transition period to be ready to immigrate to other countries, because they're not able to go back to Iraq because their life became in danger. So this is why they come to flee the persecution. So this is the ministry we have, to bring them in, to share the good news, disciple them, and when the time come, to commission them, to send them to the new countries. And this ministry, it's about 20 years old. Start with the first Gulf War, and many pastors came out of that church. And when they immigrated, they able to plant new churches in different countries, in Europe, Australia, Canada, US. So this is basically what we do among the Iraqi refugees in Iraq.
And you're involved with the Bible College from Bethlehem here in Gaza as well. What are you doing there?
Yeah, we have extension, Bethlehem Bible College extension in Gaza, where I teach here. I come 3 times a year. I teach intensive courses, and we have this extension since many years ago. But when we evacuated in '07, we're not able to continue. But This year we're able to start again, and we have about 20 students attending the course I taught about the Gospel of John. And this has been a blessing to continue to teach the students here in Gaza through Bethlehem Bible College. So this has been a blessing, and we hope soon to start also program or project on the master level here in Gaza. Yeah.
What's your prayer finally for Gaza, for this area?
We pray that our ministry be fruitful and we be blessing to many people as we can. And also please pray for protection. Also pray that we able to help the Christian families because the unemployment here are very high, about 40%. And they say 80% of the people in Gaza depend on the charities for food. So through the ministry also Christian Mission to Gaza, I do food relief and medicine relief, helping the poor and the needy, not only the Christian but also the Muslims as well. So just God help us to be blessing for the church and for the people here in Gaza.
Okay, Hannah, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Blessings.